So Gerard the Completionist is back, apparently. I said on X he's uploaded a video coming clean about his lies to everyone regarding the donations, Indie Land, the Open Hand Foundation, and more. And one of the quotes from it, I lied to you about having charity partners when I didn't know the money hadn't been donated yet. I should have been transparent from the beginning about the struggles we were having finding the right organization to work with. I got to be honest, with the evidence that I found in the deep investigations that I did back in the day on this guy, covering the entire situation, I still don't believe this. They were working with was it University of San Francisco, USF, and had fake quotes with a dude that got fired from USF saying that Indie Land was partnering with them and he would reference USF. He lied multiple times, shady as fuck. So I have a lot of questions when it comes to that whole situation. But here's the video. It's titled, You Deserve Answers. Let me refresh it, see where we're at.
Hey, everyone.
The likes and dislikes. 6 hours ago, almost 70,000 views, 8,300 upvotes, 753 downvotes. Let's see what he has to say. He's looking very different than the last time we saw him.
My name is Gerard Khalil. In 2012, I started my YouTube channel, That One Video Gamer, and for the last 13 years of my life, I have been completing games and making a lot of videos about the things that I absolutely love. On November 13th, 2023, two content creators named Karl, Jobst, and Mutahar Anas made videos detailing on how my family's charity, the Open Hand Foundation, had not made a contribution since its founding, despite numerous fundraisers and misleading statements by myself about charitable partners. Within a matter of days, and before I really had any opportunity to present any information of my own, the narrative had shifted. I was being accused of embezzlement and charity fraud.
So he's already pulling the victim card right out of the front of this, right at the beginning again. I also want to just quickly notice, is he sitting on the floor in front of his hotel room bed with a scripted video? This is just a very strange setup for the video. Okay.
With Karl and Mutahar directing their viewers to report my family's charity to the authorities, prompting a criminal investigation by the Department of Justice. We were informed that the investigation officially wrapped up in the fall of 2024. All that remained was a meeting with the Department of Justice to clear up any lingering questions, such as why the Open Hand had been mass flagged in the first place. I was constantly told by the Department of Justice that this is the final meeting, and the final meeting was right around the corner. But officially now, over a year has passed since then. I didn't want to speak publicly about this whole investigation until I had those final results in my hand, hence my silence all this time. The honest truth is that the Department of Justice will not respond to any emails, despite telling Open Hand's lawyers that they're interested in one final meeting to close the case.
They're probably, at the Department of Justice, probably like, we got more important things than this bullshit.
It has been over a year waiting on this matter, and the fact of the matter is, I need to move on. Whenever I get this final documentation, whatever it says, I don't care what it is, I will share the results with whatever I am legally allowed to share as soon as I can. And I am still absolutely confident that the accusations of fraud and embezzlement will be proven false. However, even if we never broke the law, serious moral mistakes were still made by myself and the foundation. The Open Hand took far too long to donate. I
like how he's taking the perspective of we never broke the law when there's, I can't prove anything for sure, but there's a lot of really shady shit surrounding the entire situation, especially the golf fundraising events.
Explained why it took so long until after everyone called us out. And I lied about this for all of Indie Land's years, both knowingly in 2023 and unknowingly in all the years before. But it doesn't matter.
Okay, so that's bullshit too. So you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to be honest, guys. I lied to you when I knowingly did it in 2023, but I didn't know all the years before that one. Come on. What? Come on.
what kind of explanation either I or anyone else involved might provide. This happened, and rightfully so, it pissed off everyone. To my viewers and donors, friends and collaborators, I am so sorry for hiding the truth. It was selfish, full stop.
Dude, you caused people their livelihood, your company, everything.
I want you all to have the context as to how everything happened, but nothing I've said so far is an excuse, and neither is anything else in this video. All of this is on me. Even if it wasn't exactly how I imagined things would go, my goal always was to make sure this money got donated to the right place as quickly as possible. And I'm immensely thankful that it got done. So, with that in mind, I'm sure many of you still have a ton of questions, especially about why this happened in the first place and where I've been for the past year. I want to take some time to tell my side of the story and how we got here, but I also want to clear up many of the false accusations made against me, along with addressing the individuals who not only broke this story, but pushed it into the realm of conspiracy.
Okay, so now he's trying to victim card. These people did the wrong thing. They're now the problem. Dude, you are the epicenter for all of this. That, again, I know people don't like Mutahar now. I know people don't like Karl now, but it's still not going to work pushing this on them. It's not.
So, yes, just in case all of you are wondering, this is in fact scripted. I am reading from a script, but I want to be clear. The words that you're hearing today are me and only me. There's nobody else trying to influence what I say here.
I feel like the Gerard, I've never met him or spoken to him, but I know many large influencers in YouTube that do know him personally and vouch for him being a really just great dude. So they were all really taken back when this all came out. And it goes to show like you can't trust people. It sucks. I feel like this guy, and I've said this before in previous coverage about him, I feel like he's an excellent emotional actor. He's really good at portraying a vibe that he wants to get across to people. But I wonder if deep down in his soul, that's how he actually feels about a situation. And that's where the dichotomy of disingenuity comes from with me and my perspective of him.
I just want to be sure.
I know, right? Guys, don't trust me. Where was it? Hold on. There it is. Win will smash JT, betray us. All I can do is worry about my own life with my family and get through this world. I try my best not to let my family down. You know what I mean? But I don't know how people perceive me and what their expectations are of me. So all I know is to fall back as to who I am in real life. You know? And it's kind of like surreal because on YouTube, you never get a vibe of who someone really is because it's just pixels on a screen. But at the end of the day, I feel like there are viewers wanting a connection with who they watch. And it's so hard when there are situations like Gerard the Completionist to come out and completely break that trust with people. I think deep down, that's where my frustration with all of this actually lays. It really is. It goes beyond the Open Hand Foundation. It goes beyond not donating the $600,000. It goes beyond what the hell's going on with the golf charity. It goes beyond all the disingenuous videos this guy made and the fake apologies. It goes to the core of what YouTube is that really irks me with him. Because I feel like a lot of people want him to be a good guy. And maybe he thinks he's a good guy, but he's very misled with a lot of decisions.
That everything I say is accurate to the receipts I'm providing to
By the
my
way,
own experiences.
Guys, JJJ3 here. Remember this for everyone. including me. Don't trust anyone on YouTube. I'm telling you. I hope I can earn your trust, but just don't. Just be very fucking careful. I don't know. I didn't even know how to even handle it because it's like I don't want to let you guys down, but at the same time, like I see this kind of shit and I'm just like, it breaks my heart. You know what I mean? Because all the people that looked up to Gerard and then this happened. Like, damn.
And most importantly, that you are hearing the truth straight from me, not behind lawyers, other content creators, or voiceovers disembodied by random gameplay footage.
Yeah, it's a script though, but okay.
So for now, let's go back to where all this began, with my mom. When I was young, I lost my mom to frontotemporal dementia, and she lived with that disease for roughly 16 years. When she passed away in 2013, my family officially launched a charity organization called the Open Hand Foundation, with the mission of raising awareness and money for dementia research, educational tools, and helping families. We saw a real need after the frustrations we had personally experienced working with UCSF and how they handled our contributions, both financially and with my mom's own body parts. Before my mom passed away, my family was assured of how incredibly helpful.
I will say, this is just, it's really fucking weird to be talking about your mom and her body parts in a YouTube video to potentially hundreds of thousands of people. Like this, just, it's fucking weird.
Her donation would be and what a difference it would make to the research. Well, imagine our frustration when, after donating our mom's brain and spinal cord, along with several thousands of dollars, we were told that her body parts were pretty much useless by a staff of completely different people that we didn't even know anymore. It made my family feel like we had just given away my mom's body parts for nothing, with the contribution feeling more like a feel-good courtesy than a worthwhile sacrifice. This is where the Open Hand Foundation began, and with it, the need for knowing how charitable contributions actually get spent. And as for me, I didn't really get involved into any of this until I reached a place in my career where I really felt like I could use my platform to make a big difference. In 2018, my best friends and I created Indieland, a 24 to 60-hour live stream event where we would play and promote indie games with the people who made them, raising money for charity with all of you at home watching, cheering us on as I went through tons of gross physical challenges at my own expense.
I will say too, just on a personal note, when I go to the game conventions, I speak directly with indie developers because that's a lot of indie developers show their games off at them. Like I've spoken to probably over the years, over 50 individual indie creators. And the vast majority of them always give the same story about how Indieland is a massive, great thing for indie games. So when this went down with the completionist situation, it was devastating. The ripple effects were felt throughout the entire gaming community with this, like in a very big way.
Indieland went on for 6 years, and my team and I were so thrilled to see our little show succeed. However, after we finished our 5th show in November of 2022, I spoke with my family about all the good we were doing, and I really wanted to get a representative from one of our charity partners to come and speak at Indieland 2023. Only then did I learn that the Open Hand Foundation had never made a contribution since its founding, and there were no official partners.
Bro, this might be true. I do not believe you. I find it so hard to believe that you were 2 feet in, knee deep into this situation, and dedicating everything to this charity, and not knowing that you guys weren't donating money to anything. I find that just so hard to believe.
All the money was sitting there, untouched and accounted for, ready to be donated. But at the time, there was a massive disagreement between myself and my family. I personally thought it was important that the money be donated right away. Meanwhile, my family's perspective was very different than mine. They had been negotiating with several organizations to establish contracts to take a bulk sum of money as a restricted donation. These conversations revealed that many of these potential organizations were happy to take the money, but didn't want to track what they saw as a low sum compared to the 6 to 7 figure amounts they were used to receiving from mostly corporate interest groups. After a lot of tough conversations over the years,
So why wouldn't you give a large bulk sum to equal that so that they treated you that way?
my family settled on a goal of raising $1 million before donating, hoping that this would be a massive milestone that would help organizations to take the foundation way more seriously.
Okay, that's fine if that's the case. But that doesn't get you out of the situation of the lie that you twisted, saying it was every dollar, every bit, everything goes to this stuff when it wasn't. It was going to a bank account. And instead, you were telling people it was going to the USF. And even on the Open Hand website, you had quotes from it. People that were saying that you were getting donations where they weren't. There were so many things that were straight up lies to deceive people. This is turning into a trust me, bro, instead of an authentic video.
But I didn't know about any of this, and I didn't care. I wanted it to go to a reputable charity that would do great things with it right away.
Oh, because guys, he was the good guy in all this. His family, those are the bad guys. Gerard, I wanted it to go right away when I found out it was. That's what we want.
Means for the next 12 months, I knew about the money not being donated and was having constant conversations to get it to the right place, trying to repair relationships and negotiate in good faith with several different potential benefactors. Since it was now up to me to get this money donated, I needed to stay on the board of
so now it's up to him to get the money donated, but it wasn't before.
Directors for Open Hand, at least until the donation was officially made. It was around this point that I realized that I was in way over my head. I had just lost my job at G4, and finances were a
Get him, Frosk!
complete mess all around for myself and my company. I was scrambling to get the Completionist restructured with new ideas and a new tone. And I was practically traveling or doing some work event almost every single week, almost the entire year. But everything was up in the air, and all of it was on me, all at once. And on top of all this was the news that I now had to fix a problem that had been unknowingly brewing for several years. However, even at this point, I couldn't just do whatever I wanted. And this is where the real conflict started. I tried my best to express how upset I was, how upset all of you would rightfully be, and that this could cost me and so many people who worked with me everything we had created and built together. And I was simply brushed aside. I had learned the hard way that the charity world moves at a glacial pace, and I've been going around touting all these organizations and all the good we'll be doing for many years, only for all of it to be a bunch of empty promises. Even after I stepped up, my best efforts to donate as fast as possible would never be good enough, as every decision I wanted to make now had to be approved by a long list of people on both the Open Hand side and the potential benefactors that I have been speaking with.
Okay, that's fine, but you're talking about the problems that you've created, and you're just like, I'm acknowledging the problem I've created. So just let me be, guys. Like, no, this is the problem you created. Just acknowledging it doesn't make it better. Like, you created this problem. You lied to people.
So I feel that some context on my family might be helpful right here. I'm the youngest of 5 in a first-generation Lebanese immigrant household.
Are you going to tell people about how your dad owns a multi-million-dollar gas station in a very prominent place in Los Angeles worth millions? Are you going to talk about that? And how you have all this money in your family? Is that going to come up in this? Or is he going to be like, oh, we have humble beginnings and, we struggle? I wonder. I have not seen this yet. We'll see.
My dad has always loomed large in every aspect of my life, and that absolutely extended to my own experiences with the Open Hand Foundation, and at times, even my own business. The expectations were that I should have been an engineer or I should have been a lawyer. Instead, I'm a video producer who plays video games on the internet for a living. If you ever watched the Completionist live show,
bro, no one cares about your family situation with your dad being disappointed. No one cares, bro. That everyone has that. Congratulations. What does this have to do with anything?
from a few years ago then all of this should sound pretty familiar to you. I did not have the final call on any major decisions when it came to the open hand and its finances. I was one of many people in charge. To my family, I was seen as the video game guy, not the business guy or the charity guy.
Me too. Me too. I mean, do you want me to give you my tragic backstory talking about my dad when I moved out to California after graduating college and I was looking for a job, and my first job in California was working minimum wage as a quality assurance game tester at Sony Online Entertainment. And when I made that phone call to tell my dad, the devastation in his voice being, oh, like obvious, clear disappointment of that's what you're doing with your life. Yeah, I've lived through it, bro. I get it. I don't start a charity scam and point to that situation though. What like what is he trying to act like he's unique to this?
Regardless, the outcomes were absolutely my responsibility because all of you at home donated your hard earned money and time and did so with your trust in me in mind. So when I learned the truth, I made it my goal that no matter what happened, the money had to get donated. There was no other outcome that I would allow. And that's where the real nasty core to all of this is. Nobody embezzled or touched any money. No crime was committed or covered up here. And the results of the Department of Justice's investigation will hopefully one day be proof of this. The decision to wait to donate until the foundation raised $1 million, along with the struggle of figuring out why that was necessary in the first place, should have absolutely been communicated with all of you.
Mm-hmm.
The Open Hand Foundation, and myself especially, should have been more transparent with its struggles and its goals, period.
Yes.
A week after Indieland 2023 had wrapped up.
You don't need, I mean, that's literally great. End the video, bro. Yeah. That's what you should have. This could have been a 25-second video. Yes. Yes. Hey, I'm sorry. I really fucked up. I was in over my head and we should have been more transparent with you. Okay. But what is the rest of this?
Up. And before I could get back to the donation efforts and conversations I was having, my heart stopped when I saw an email to the Open Hand Foundation came from a one Karl Jobst. I'm very familiar with Karl's work, as he had been known at the time to be a groundbreaking creator that claimed to take down cheaters, liars, and scammers. And I knew what was coming next. A few days later, on November 10th,
weird, almost like he knew he was doing something wrong and someone was on to him. Weird.
I received a message from another creator, Mutahar, also known as SomeOrdinaryGamers. I respected and
LMAO, we hit follow at the same time. That's crazy. Haha, dig your stuff, man. Hope you're doing well. Your tweet on Radio Shack got recommended to me, and I realized I hadn't been following you.
Trusted Mutahar, so when he asked if I wanted to hop on a Discord call to talk about a discrepancy with some of the Open Hand Foundation's publicly available documents, I agreed, thinking, hey, you know what? Maybe we could chat this out and clear the air. No problem. Mutahar never once asked about the laws or regulations that Karl had asked about, so I had no reason to think they were collaborating together, especially since they had no prior history together online. I hopped on the call, assuming that this would just be the two of us, until my surprise, I saw Karl join. The rest of what's publicly available to all of you is essentially me having a panic attack while trying to be transparent with two creators I respected at the time, all at the behest of throwing my friends and family under several buses. I saw the headlines coming, and I spiraled, losing control of everything. I did my best to reiterate my family's infighting, the struggles with finding a donor for a restricted donation, and that no matter what was going to happen, all the money was accounted for and ready to be donated. And they even acknowledged that there was no evidence of embezzlement and that it's not even what they were asking about. So it gave me some hope that this whole thing could be recovered in some way. And so
I'm keeping it to the charity and like the money and why it hasn't moved. I won't personally be mentioning anybody family related and the personal hell that you honestly have to go through. That's like a fucking no-no for me personally. On my end, and I'm sure on Karl's end, that's something that obviously I think we can abide by. That's just an ethics thing for any journalist, really. The very big silver lining is the money is there, according to every PP filing that I've seen. it can all be like done right. You know, this isn't a situation of actual embezzlement or, you know, money being moved to the fucking Cayman Islands or some cryptocurrency offshore. This is a situation that can be rectified for very positive sakes. But yeah,
I was terrified and I should have kept my mouth shut. But some part of me believed that if I was honest right from the get-go, maybe I could get out ahead of this. And
this is the problem, is he's trying to farm sympathy, saying, hey, I got cornered. I didn't know they were going to jump on me and do these things and say these awful things. If you really felt this way, you would have made a video coming forward yourself before this even happened. Like, this is the crazy thing. Ignorance is not escaping any kind of being a problem, or what's the word? Ignorance does not excuse you from the crime. I guess that's what I'm getting at. He needs to have been more straightforward with people. And instead, Karl and Mutahar were like, okay, we're going to just tell people what we found because this looks really fucked, bro. And even he in the call acknowledges, yeah, it looks really fucked.
it could end up just being more of a cautionary situation for people to know. 3 days later, Monday, November the 13th, Mutahar and Karl released their videos, and the story was broken. It made donating even more important, but even more difficult due to the new online reputation of the Open Hand Foundation and myself.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So you're telling me 3 days later was enough to make it hard to give money away in 3 days?
Many of these organizations we've been speaking with suddenly wanted nothing to do with us.
Right. In 3 days, that happened. Right.
Legally informing us to keep our distance, and the situation quickly became desperate. Thankfully, my brother and I were able to secure a meeting with AFTD the very next day. And by November 29th of 2023,
we magically were able to get the money to them. Wow. Wow. Almost like you could have just done that from the start. Weird.
The Association of Frontotemporal Dementia received $600,000 from the Open Hand Foundation. Soon after this donation was made, I resigned from my role on the board of directors, ending my relationship with my family's efforts in the Open Hand Foundation. The money that remained in the Open Hands account was intended to cover any future operating expenses or potential legal fees. That would prove to be important since the very next day on November 30th, we received a notice from the California Department of Justice that the Open Hand Foundation was now being investigated.
So now this is great. So the money that you promised people that would be going towards every bit, every sub would be going towards Open Hand Foundation and frontal temporal dementia was actually just going to lawyers. Wow.
Receipts were being sent over, and per legal advice, everyone's mouths were to be kept shut. The main priority for me was, at the very least, the $459,129.90 raised by indie land donors would finally go to the original cause of dementia research in honor of my mother. At this point, my family and I were completely overwhelmed with the noise coming in. And as a result, we brought in several different professionals to help us determine how to even best respond to the ever-growing list of allegations. This is what finally led to my response on December 9th of 2023. All the information that I'm sharing with you right now and going to be sharing with you, this is what I wanted to say in that video. At the time, the Open Hands Foundation's legal counsel instructed me not to say or share anything because nobody knew what would be relevant to the pending investigation by the government. I was essentially handcuffed from telling the full story because our lawyers instructed me to not address any information potentially related to the ongoing investigation, which included receipts, potential evidence, and even fully admitting to any and all of my mistakes. When this response video failed to inspire folks to trust and believe in me still, I knew that my support systems were going to go away very quickly. My financial, legal, and community support disappeared overnight, with a lot of my friendships, both personal and professional, going away with it as well. It was clear that I had failed and my options were extremely limited. Over the course of the next 2 months, almost all the employees at That One Video Gamer were let go, and I spent most of my time clearing out the now defunct old office.
I wonder how much that's going to weigh on him. Because like I said, I feel like I know people like don't trust Gerard, don't like him. But I feel like he gives me the vibes of someone with a very broken conscience that really does want to do right, but just keeps fucking up every step along the way. And I do wonder how much it weighed on him to have to like fire everyone that he had in his company and basically just end it all. That's gotta really weigh on you.
I decided to continue making content as a way just to keep the lights on despite my legal silence. But by the summer of 2024, I eventually stopped producing new content altogether. I would go on to disappear from the lives of practically everyone I knew because I thought that in my own self-hating isolation that that's what everyone wanted from me. But in reality, I ended up doing a lot more harm than good by letting everyone else deal with the public responses. And that was extremely selfish of me.
Mm-hmm.
Without being able to truly apologize and take 100% full accountability for the things that I was responsible for, it felt like no one wanted to ever hear from me, let alone trust me ever again. To my moderators, my biggest fans that have rolled with me since day one, and especially to anyone who ever donated to Indieland in any way, shape, or form. So many of you trusted me, my words, and my reputation in what I stood for. I know a lot of you have left this community, are hurt and feel betrayed, and were even threatened or harassed by people online just for saying that you still believed in me. I put all of you in an unbelievably difficult situation, and for that, I am deeply sorry. To my past employees.
There it is. I believe I've been listening for the sorry. We got the sorry at 17 minutes and 30 seconds in. Almost halfway through the videos, the sorry.
I am so sorry that you've had to endure the sudden hardship of needing to find new employment with a resume that had my name and company insignia on it. You trusted me to manage that one video gamer and everything related to our brand in a way that would keep us going for the next decade. All of you gave me your blood, sweat, and tears, and some of you for the full 13 years of our existence. I am forever grateful for all of you, and I am so sorry that this ended up becoming the worst possible scenario for all of us.
I do believe him there, by the way. I think that one video gamer, the completionist and the company that he had going, obviously I think that meant a lot to him. So to have that come crashing down over all this has got to be devastating. But that's where it comes into the like, bro, like what were you doing behind the scenes with everything? This is what happens when you let shit like spiral.
To Fraser Perez-Edon, Patrick Stingline, and Michael Barity. You've always been my best friends. Your relentless support has always meant the world to me. Indieland and so much of TOVG's ambition and drive was from the three of you and your dreams.
Which, by the way, this is what the problem with Open Hand Foundation, that he doesn't acknowledge when he said earlier, we needed a sizable donation to be able to get the contract signed and this, that, the other thing, which may be true. It sounds like a potential realistic outcome for the situation they're in. Okay. But what if you guys were just using this as a grift to pile money together to eventually siphon it out? Especially in context with you promising everyone that every dollar was going somewhere when it wasn't. That, at the end of the day, is why people do not trust you and do not believe you. Even if you had the best intentions, people have to trust me, bro. What if you weren't going to do that? That's the problem with it.
You dreamed as big as I did, if not bigger, and contributed to our success. I will always be in your debt, and my heart is so heavy for how this ruined your lives and the lives of your fellow employees. I will find a way somehow, someday, to reconcile and seek redemption with all of you, if you will allow me to.
It sounds like a lot of his friends kind of just wanted nothing to do with them. They were just like, I'm done. I can't be associated with this guy. It's like a toxic, like, person to be even connected to.
I want to especially apologize to the Super Beard Brothers, the Scary Game Squad, the Friends Per Second podcast, and all of the guests and indie game developers that appeared at Indieland for the long road of chaos they had to endure and will continue to endure because of all of this. I don't expect forgiveness from anyone who watches this, but I do want all of you to know that I am doing everything in my power to make it right. And on that note, I do want to talk a little bit about the progress update on AFTD's fight against dementia and how all the money you all donated is helping real people today.
Okay, no one cares, bro. Positive impact? No one cares. Let's skip ahead to addressing false claims.
I do not think that I have gotten over the hardships and the trauma that I've experienced in my life with her and her illness. She always taught me to do good, and
A lot of victimhood here.
I was trying to live through her to do good, and I'm still trying to do good to this day. You, as a viewer,
He always seems to bring up his mother as a crutch to be like, please give me your empathy, because my mother, me.
deserve the facts, and especially the truth. That's why I want to clarify as many of the allegations against me as I can that are absolutely false.
Okay. By the way, he already did this video covering addressing the false claims. Is he doing it again? Like, what are we doing here?
First, I want to address the idea that the open hand could quickly just donate the money the same way you can just click donate on a charity website or Venmo or PayPal a friend.
This is, oh my God. All it's turning into is a cycle of excuses over and over and over again. It's like, bro, people understand that. They're upset that you lied to them, that you told people that it was going to something, the UCSF, that you're not acknowledging, that you lied about on the Open Hand Foundation website. You had that dude that was, I believe, was he arrested? He doesn't work there anymore at the UCSF that was being quoted on the Open Hand Foundation's website for thanking for the donation that they never got. That stuff, how come you don't talk about that stuff? That's the stuff people are frustrated about. What he's doing right now is he's straw manning to set up something just to knock down.
Almost everyone is screaming at them just to donate the money, which should be pretty easy to do.
One thing you'll see is they'll ask me to gift an amount that is as low as $35.
The short answer is no. If we wrote a check to a charity with no agreements on how that money gets spent or how it's tracked, we would never have received a report detailing how our donors' money was being put to use. It would likely have gone to funding administrative costs like accounting fees and executive salaries.
Probably should have thought of that when you first started raising money. I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like, what the hell?
It had to be restricted to make sure that it actually went to dementia research. And negotiating with many of these organizations is really tough when you aren't donating tens of millions of dollars. To us,
It's not true, by the way. It's not, it doesn't take tens of millions of dollars. I would almost argue that makes it more complicated because you need to track all that money. Like, I would think if you have $500,000, 600,000, which is what they had, shouldn't be too hard. Shouldn't be too hard. Unless they're being really particular with who they want to work with, then it might limit your options.
$600,000 was an astronomical amount of money, especially for me and my community. But in the charity world, that's small potatoes. There's a ton more to
It's small potatoes if you're looking to work with massive organizations. Yes.
this whole thing, but that's about the best explanation that I can personally provide because I am not a 501c3 lawyer or accountant. This stuff is unbelievably complex and it takes time to get it right. Simply put, it was functionally impossible for us to...
Guys, he's giving people the blueprint for the perfect grift. If you were a nefarious, evil person, you could just do what he did and just never donate the money. And this is your excuse right here. It's perfect. This is the blueprint to follow. That's what people are upset about. There's nothing unique about this situation that doesn't separate him from a criminal, from the road that they were traveling. That's the problem.
just donate the money in a website's donate button section while being responsible to the people who donated to us and the cause that we represented. That obviously does not excuse the fact that it took far too long to donate, but hopefully this at least explains why, even once you find a benefactor, it's still a very tedious process. Next, I want to talk about Twitch bits and Twitch subscriptions. If you don't know how bits and subs work, viewers can donate money in the form of Twitch bits, as well as subscribe to a Twitch streamer for perks like emotes and private streams. This money then gets split with Twitch, and the remaining balance then comes to the Twitch streamer at the end of the month. During the weeks of Indieland, all bits and subs that we received on the channel were put towards the donation goal throughout the event. I'm sure many of you have seen a lot of clips and memes at this point over the years where I have said we don't touch any bits or subs. Technically speaking, I do have to interact with them because I have to claim the income that comes to me and my company, and any money that Twitch pays out is income regardless of where we'll end up going later on. However, either myself or my brother, sometimes referencing a meme name during the stream, referencing something that was taking place at the time in the stream, would donate various amounts of money that match what we had received from Twitch viewers in real time up to that point directly to our Tiltify page. That way, the on-screen totals would match and no amount would ever get forgotten. If there was any discrepancy at the time, we made sure to donate extra to ensure accuracy, and sometimes that happened a few days after Indieland had wrapped up. We worked hard
to be honest, this sounds really overcomplicated and shady as fuck.
Figure this process out, as early on we didn't have everything locked in. But by the time we were done, that was our process. No matter what though, dollar for dollar, everything did go to charity. For full
again, this does not absolve you of the money going to quote unquote charity if your charity was a fucking bank account that it was just sitting in. And that was the concern. People were like, were they planning on ever donating? Because if this wasn't discovered by Karl and Muta, who knows what they would have done with it? That's the problem here. That the elephant in the room that he continues to dance around. Again.
Transparency on screen right now, you can see our revenue for Twitch bits and subs for every year.
No one cares. All these excuses, advertising, false claim. No one cares, bro. I'm not going to sit through all this. No one cares. Conspiracy theories, accusers. What does this video even turn into? This is just poor me. Excuses, victim card. Everyone else is the problem. Okay, here we go. Let's skip ahead because I can't do this whole thing. Skip ahead to final accountability. Let's hear what he has to say about this.
It was my 16-minute video under the scrutiny of countless legal professionals versus their 8+ hours of sponsored conspiracy-based attacks.
Man, that sounds like an Alyssa Mercante excuse. He made over 400 hours or whatever she says of video, 200 hours of videos. I'm like, what? Are you counting entire live streams? When I mention your name, all 6 hours of those count towards talking about you? What?
So, as a recap, yes, I did lie about where the donations were going, knowingly so after Indieland 2022. I try to take responsibility privately by making sure that the money got donated appropriately, hoping that I can minimize the damage this might do to everyone in my life, keeping this a secret to prevent anyone else from being complicit. In reality, continuing to hide this throughout 2023 only made everything worse.
Yep.
Because now I was still directly complicit. There was always going to be hell to pay, and I was just being stupid about all of this. I should have just partnered with the organization directly, made things right from the beginning, and not cared about restricted donations.
That's the other thing too, is by involving your family's charity, you now are taking accountability directly for where the money's going. And you are lying to people about where their money is going. Don't fuck with people's money. Like when I ran my fundraisers, my Give, Send, Go for the lawsuit, I take that so fucking seriously, where I'm like, I know every dollar is going to be accounted for to go towards this lawsuit as far as it has to go. I've explained fully to everyone so they know exactly where the money's going and how it's being spent, who the lawyer is, where we're at with the process, thanking people along the way. Not saying, hey, if I get sued, this is literally the same thing. If I get sued someday, give me money and I will put it in an account. And maybe someday I'll get sued and then I'll go to that account and use it. It's a very similar situation to the Open Hand Foundation that was not donating money to anything. It's like maybe someday they'll donate it somewhere. Just give them money. It's so fucking weird. That's why you shouldn't have even created the Open Hand Foundation, because of your mom's frontal temporal dementia. You should have just found a charity that existed and given to that directly, or had your fans and followers connect it to that source and give directly to them. Remove your family's company and charity completely from the equation so that you don't have any issues with this.
Or where the money was going. I also should not have gone ahead with Indieland in 2023. The show had taken a life of its own because it finally was receiving the notoriety for all of our team's hard work, and I did not want to hurt or betray everyone that put their blood, sweat, and tears into the show. This was just as important to indie games as it was to charity, and that added a ton of expectations and pressure.
Which, by the way, I kind of believe him on that, where I think he really did care about Indieland. I believe that. The problem is the elephant in the room with the charity being a part and all that stuff that's going on.
In the end, I made a choice that cost my team their employment and ruined their lives, not to mention all the residual flack of every indie developer that they received just because of their association to me. It was short-sighted and dishonest. I should have come clean.
It was selfish. Once again, it was all about you, bro.
As soon as I learned about it, and separated myself and the event from my family immediately. With all that being said, though, what I did not do was steal, embezzle, or otherwise misappropriate donor funds for
Great, bro. No one cares. It's just a trust me, bro.
anything. Every cent of money donated was always there, waiting to find a benefactor.
Again, trust me, bro. It was waiting to find a benefactor. This is the whole thing. It's a circular argument excuse.
Any claims of theft, embezzlement, or fraud are categorically false. I also want to apologize to Karl and Mutahar. Despite my criticisms, I know what it's like to have your entire life scrutinized by tens of thousands of strangers who just want to see you fail, and nobody deserves that. I know you both wanted this money donated, and you didn't deserve to get blown off just because people liked me. But I'm not interested in fighting some eternal YouTube drama conflict.
This is funny, though, because he put a video out, like, threatening to, or like insinuating that he was going to be suing them.
I just want to come clean. And this is genuinely the soonest I was able to do so.
So he's been all over the map, from being their buddy to being scared of them to threatening to sue them to now apologizing to them. I'm trying to keep up with what the fuck his emotions even are with these people.
So if you're really interested in understanding whether Karl and Mutahar conducted a responsible and educated investigation, there's a great YouTube video out there by a YouTube channel called Accounting in YouTube that breaks down the entire thing. And it's made by actual CPAs who looked at everything that Karl and Mutahar looked at. If this is where my work in charity ends...
Yeah, guys, trust Gerard to watch a video pointing to his situation that paints him in a good light, because of course that's what he's going to do.
Then so be it. I have participated in dozens of public fundraising events over the years that have nothing to do with the Open Hand Foundation or my family for that matter. And the reason has always been the same each and every single time. Real people need as much help as they can get when faced with life-changing disorders like dementia. I've experienced this whole thing firsthand from the age of 10. It was one of the hardest things I've ever had to endure.
Okay, no one cares. Moving forward, let's skip ahead.
I'm not a drama YouTuber or anything like that. I play games and just want to make videos about the things that I'm passionate about.
The man behind the curtain. I am not a drama YouTuber. Please look over here at the games that I play. Please stay away from the drama in my life.
My life is fundamentally different these days. My friend group has completely shifted. My family dynamics are very, very different. And the image that you all had of me is shattered.
I'd imagine like he probably went through some, if what he is saying is true, by the way, which is, that's up to you to decide. If it's true, I would imagine he went through some severe depression. Like, if he really is being honest about all of this, and it really is like just fuckery accidentally that he didn't do his due diligence, that is a really dark place that he was at. If he is to be believed, which again, I'll leave that up to you.
And maybe that's all okay. Maybe it's not okay. Maybe it doesn't need to be okay. But this is a new beginning for me, the completionist, and hopefully all of you at home who've supported me, should you choose to continue to roll with me. From now on, this is my story to tell. And if you're here for it, I cannot wait to make entirely new kinds of videos that will make you laugh and hopefully make you think. Going forward, you're going to be seeing a lot of me more streaming on Twitch, and hopefully weekly videos will return again soon. But it's going to feel very different. I don't have my company or my team anymore. It's just me once again, by myself. Before I end this video, I want to talk to a few people specifically. To Alex Faciani and Kelly Whistler. You two have been in my corner for years, supporting me through the insanity that's been TOVG. I am honored and humbled to know the both of you, and I am so deeply sorry for all the pain that I've caused the two of you, even to this day. To my family, but more specifically to my brother Jacques. No matter what happens in life, we will always be family. We will always be brothers. We will, whether we like it or not, be there for each other through thick and thin. I know this has been hard on both of us and our relationship, and this whole video won't fix that, but hopefully it's a step in the right direction, and I hope that things go back to the way they once were someday. This is a new me. A new adventure, a new chapter. I learned a lot of hard lessons these last few years. This new road ahead of me will undoubtedly be filled with new highs, new lows, different pains.
I hope he doesn't have new lows. Good Lord. Don't be hitting new lows after the lows you hit. Hopefully in anyone's life, the low that he just had is the lowest he'll ever hit.
Different sorrows, new battles, and hopefully not new or more enemies, but more importantly, more mistakes. I am only human, and I want to try and do right by each and every one of you who has ever supported me. I hope I can earn your trust and make you all proud of me once more. So with that said, till next time, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all again soon for another brand new episode of The Completionist.
So Karl Jobst saw this and did not have a pleasant reaction to it, to put it nicely. The recent Gerard video is unfortunately full of lies again. My next video will be a response. Man, the drama circle between the completionist and Karl Jobst and Mutahar, well, this is the song that never ends. After experiencing my own public backlash, I sympathize with what he went through. It truly isn't pleasant. His persistent dishonesty is really baffling, though. I have made plenty of mistakes. There are plenty of things to criticize me for, and I will attempt to own them as much as possible. But for some reason, he felt compelled to straight up lie about things that are easily disproved, which that was the vibe that I had when I was watching it. I love Billy Mitchell reply. Billy Mitchell has no chill. Holy shit. Remember, RickySauce.com. Discount code Karl Lost. Holy shit. And then we'll top it off with this one. Billy Mitchell quote tweets him, "Hey, completionist, thanks for helping Karl generate funds for his creditors." Oh God. I love him or hate him. I love Billy Mitchell just coming in and just fucking being like, "Oh, hey, looks like you guys are talking here." fucking savage. And the grift cycle continues. It's amazing. It's amazing. When you start actually like getting to know everything that's going on, like watching the matrix, the green lines of everything that's happening, you see this circle of people, and it's hysterical. Oh God. So yeah, I will be definitely curious to see what Karl Jobst has to say. So I guess the grift is working because I am hooked onto this drama. It's great shit. But yeah, for now, we'll leave that one here.